Hello, it's me, Galen. Galen's got Parkinson's. Now, today, I've been doing a lot of things about the 1970s, but you might have noticed I've also been doing a big 6mm Napoleonic game with the lads at the club. And that has led to me having to do a reorganisation. And I'm going to be completely honest about this. I'm not an expert on the Napoleonic Wars. I've been doing the Napoleonic Wars longer than any other wargaming period. But I make assumptions, based largely on television and on misconception and on lies and nonsense and on what other people tell me, because other people claim to be experts, or people at clubs say this, like that, or even rule sets, and you just take it as read. But there's two problems I find with the 6mm Napoleonic, is having those huge armies. They look good, that's fine, but generally speaking, the Russians are all wearing green and the French are all wearing blue. Now, it's quite hard when you look to see who's who. And we had an incident in our game, and it's on the video, the first day of the 1812 campaign, where my friend, who, like me, is in a more mature state of mind, gave orders to a regiment to attack a farm. And the farm was held by light infantry. The trouble was that the men he ordered to attack the farm were dragoons. And they got stopped at the wall because cavalry in SHAKO can't charge obstacles. But these things happen in war, like we all said. I said to him, "Do you want to do it again? It's your honest mistake." And he said, "No, it's what happens." But when we looked, in SHAKO, I don't know if you know SHAKO, but you get factors for your troops, and the factors, it's like morals. So you've got morale. So you've got MF, morale factor, which is the highest one, and then you've got the DMF, disorganized morale factor, that's the lower one. So if I show you, for example, these in French infantry, where are they? There, French infantry. And on the bottom, I've written, and this is a mistake, I know that, I've written Young Guard 5-2. Now, because they're called Young Guard, I assumed, and assumed is the big word here, that they were guards. And the old guard in SHAKO gets 6. So I assumed the Young Guard were not as good, so I gave them a 5. Wrong. Wrong. One of the mates who I was wargaming with queried the scores of the dragoons, because the dragoons had a 5-2 or a 4-1. And he said, "I know dragoons are," and he used a rude word, which I'm not going to use, but let's say cherries. And that's the letter it starts with. The dragoons are cherries. He said, "I know that for a fact." And I don't know that for a fact. So I thought, oh God, I'm doubting everything now. So I did something that I'm doing more and more, and I hope you'll forgive me if you are anti-IT and AI and all them things we're meant to be terrified of. But it's Halloween, it's October, we're meant to be terrified of something. So let's be terrified of ChatGTP. So I went to ChatGTP and I asked it a question. It says, "Ask me anything." So I said, using SHAKO and their rule system of giving everything a grade between 1 and 6, 6 being the best, 1 being the worst, rate the cavalry of the French army in the Napoleonic Wars. And it came out with a list. And it was a list that shattered several of my preconceptions. So I'm going to read the list. I've written it down in my diary, so I can add it to my rules. And it's sort of in order. So in SHAKO, cuirassiers, French cuirassiers get a 6. If you do this properly, historically, looking at all of the evidence, which ChatGPT-5 claims to do, the Imperial Guard cavalry are a 6. Cuirassiers are a 5. I was told that dragoons were cherries. Empress dragoons, Napoleon's personal guard, who also attached to the old guard, are a 5. They are some of the most feared cavalry in Europe. They're equal to the cuirassiers. And what ChatGPT does, it gives them a factor for morale, esprit de corps, training, equipment, pay. Apparently the Empress Dragoons, you had to be a vet of 10 years plus and be decorated for some specific act of bravery. These lads could, by their just appearance on a battlefield, strike fear into an enemy's heart. Now, ordinary dragoons were on poorer horses and they were less well equipped and less fancy, but ordinary dragoons are still a 4. Lancers are a 4. Another shock I got was carabiniers are a 5. Who'd have thought it? You're all saying I would. I'm a Napoleonic wargamer. I've known that for years. But they're the same as cuirassiers. Wow. That blew my mind. Hussars and chasseurs are a 3. Now, that's all I have in my army. I don't have any gendarme cavalry because my army are French versus Russians. And pretty much I do 1812-ish, to be honest. I could do other battles, but I don't. So, no. So then I asked it to do, out of interest, the same for the infantry. I thought, I'm going to reorganise my army anyway. I might as well do them all. So, the infantry, old guard, 6. Young guard, 4. 4. Same as light infantry, line infantry, and grenadiers. 4. I'll do it again. The only 3s are green reserve militia type troops. So I did that, which means I've got to reorganise my army in as much as I have to change those stickers on a lot of men. I've got a big army. So I thought I'll just check the colours. Rolo's getting angry because I'm changing the colours on his favourite men. So I did. So we've got no great surprises. Dark green, Imperial Guard Cavalry. Dark blue, Cuirassiers. Green, Empress Dragoons. Blue, Lancers. Red, Guard Lancers. Oh, sounds interesting. Blue Hussars, green Chasseurs, green Dragoons, white Carabiniers, Infantry Old Guard. Blue, 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 blue. In the interests of fairness, although often in my life and war games there is an absence of fairness, but life's not fair, is it? If life was fair, I'd be strolling through the south of France with, I want to say Ursula Andress. I don't know why I want to say that. Because I'm a child of the 70s. And I had posters of Ursula Andress and Raquel Welch and Jane Fonda in Barbarella on my wall at college. Mental note. I'll tell Teddy. Teddy, what? I want you to order me, find me on the internet, posters for the room during the refit. What do you want? Raquel Welch, Ursula Andress, Barbarella, Jane Fonda. Oh, and I think it's Raquel Welch is it 1,000,000 BC? Try and find that one. Okay. Right. Just sorry about that. A bit of housekeeping with the business thing. Galen's got Parkinson's business. So I went to the French army. Okay. So French army. They have Imperial Guard cavalry who are a 6. They have cuirassiers who are a 5. Their lancers are called Uhlans, they're 4. Their hussars are better than the French. The French are a 3. The Russians are a 4. They don't have chasseurs, but they have Jaegers that the French don't have. And they are a 5. They are dead good. Dragoons are a 4, same as the French. And now we're getting into some interesting areas because Cossacks. What you said, you're not allowed to use rude words on YouTube. I said Cossacks. It's not a rude word. Wash your goals out. Now, I thought Cossacks, and in my army, I have Cossacks. There's some Cossacks. Weren't very good. I thought they were good at like going through forests and over streams and scouts. Didn't think they were up to much as regards fighting. But apparently, if you do what ChatGPT and did, it looked at all of those areas: morale, fighting ability, training, skill, resilience, esprit de corps, loyalty, bravery. And it merged all those different factors and came out with a reasonable average adjusted to make sense amongst the relatively straightforward scale of 1 to 6. And that's because in SHAKO you throw a D6 and you add that D6 to whatever your factors are. And that gives you a score, and your opponent does the same and the highest wins. And the difference is casualties. Also, if a unit like that's worth 4, when it's taken 4 casualties, the entire unit comes off. Until then, nothing happens. There's no penalty. It doesn't get worse. You don't have to remember anything. You just put a little 1 by it, or a 2, or a 3. When you get to a 4, it's gone. It's beetled off. So it's completely lost any ability to fight. And they're not casualties. In my head, they aren't casualties. When I first started playing SHAKO, I used to think, well, I've lost 2 men of the 4. I've lost 50% of my men. Why am I still throwing the same number of dice? But you're not. Because it's not the number of men that's represented. It's the fighting ability of that unit. That unit has an ability of 4. If there's 2 casualties, you are subtracting that when you fight. So if you go into a melee, you lose your -1 if you've taken more casualties than the enemy. You minus another 1 if you're disordered. So you are reflecting the weakness of the unit as you go down. And when you get to 0, you've lost all ability to fight. You've lost all your esprit de corps. You've lost all your morale. You've lost your ability to fight. So you go home. Napoleonic armies, units don't fight to the last man. So anyone who thinks SHAKO doesn't work because of that, you're wrong. That was a bold statement, wasn't it? So I looked at the same for the Cossacks, and I was surprised because the Lifeguard Cossacks are a 5. A 5. These lads are a 5. The same as French cuirassiers. For different reasons, but they are. Partly because of their bravery and their esprit de corps and their loyalty. but there are 5. They wear dark blue and red, if you're interested. And then you get my Cossacks. I've got Don Cossacks, I've got Cossacks of the Urals, and I've got Cossacks of the Don Valley. I've said Don Valley, somewhere else. Kuban. So they wear blue, grey, purpley grey, and brown. But they're worth 4. Look what I've got them worth. Don't look at him, it doesn't say. Don't look at him, it doesn't say. There we go. Don Cossacks. What are they worth? 2. Because I am an idiot. I am an idiot that has been swayed by other people's opinion. And doubtless when I tell wargamers that those red Cossacks, who are lifeguards and they're worth a 5, are going to get cross. And they're going to say, oh, no, they're not. That makes them as good as my cuirassiers. Yeah, well, you know, suck it up. Put your big boy's pants on. Because, my friend, that is the truth of the matter. It's not me saying it, it's ChatGTP. 5. Not 4. No. Not one of these fly-by-night, old-fashioned, I don't know everything in the world. This is proper. This is what we would have called up north the mutt's nuts. Think on. Now, I know that my presentation style in this has been a little bit like a professor at university. Might have been a bit dry, but I need to get the facts in. I need you to know. You might not agree with me. Well, it's a free country. But I will say this. If you're playing a game and someone's put that game on, do not criticise what they're doing, right? It's their game. I play umpteen games where I vehemently disagree with the rule system, with the way the umpires are operating. Keep it zipped. If you can't see anything nice, don't say anything at all. And I'll tell you the other thing. If anyone was watching this or ever war games with me, it don't matter how much you say, it don't matter how much you moan, it don't matter how much you complain, I am running a game. I am right. Now, I might come away and do what I've done with this and have a think. But at the time, I will not. I'm not for, the gamer is not for turning. I'm the Iron Lady of wargaming. And you should be as well. I was taught a few things. When I first started wargaming, I went to a club for the first time as a young whippersnapper, a mere youth.
This is a reminder. Dried frog pills. This is a reminder. Dried frog pills.
Time for my dopamine. That's not a Halloween special effect. Special effects brought to you by Parkinson's. You've got to laugh at it, haven't you? Yeah, so I was told a number of basic ground rules for wargaming. And those ground rules are: 1, the dice has to land flat on the table. If it falls on the floor, it don't count. If it's cocked up halfway on something, it don't count. Nowadays we have things we can throw dice into. I've got a tower, you drop the dice in, and they drop. They can't go cocked, they can't fall off the table. I've just ordered like one of them sort of funny things, and you clip it and you throw your dice in there. And I've noticed a lot of YouTubers are saying, like, I watched a YouTuber, the Seventh Son, and every day it has to be in there. Don't just chuck them anywhere else. You throw them again. Get them thrown in there, mate, because that's where they get thrown. I don't quite do that, but you know, you can see the point. That was number one. Number two, you don't touch anybody else's figures. You don't go, oh, I'll straighten that up for you. No, you keep your mitts off. Never mind moving it 2 centimetres closer to you so you can shoot it. Just leave it where it is. It's nothing to do with you. Get your hands off. You wouldn't touch my pieces if we were playing chess, or my cards if we were playing poker, because I'd shoot you if I was a Wild West gambler. And you imagine grabbing Doc Holliday's poker hand in Dodge City. He'd have gone, I don't know, I'm right disappointed, he'd have said. So, you don't do that. Number 3, you do not question what your opponent's doing. So if your opponent says, I'm charging and I'm in range, you don't get a tape measure and check it. Your opponent has said they're in range, so shut up and bite the bullet. It don't matter. If they cheat, they're cheating themselves. And war games, we shouldn't be cheating, therefore there shouldn't be any cheating. If cheating is bad, if cheating's happening in wargaming, can't be doing that. But I used to play field hockey on grass. And back in the 70s when I started, if hitting the ball with your foot is a foul. And if the ball hit your foot and the umpire didn't spot it, you used to put your hand up. Stand still and put your hand up, say feet. You tell him. Not now. Not when I ended. You didn't tell nobody nothing. You got away with murder if you could, because the world's changed, and as I got better and got more higher up the rankings into better leagues with more to lose, sportsmanship went right out the window, and it's tragic. But wargaming, we keep sportsmanlike, please. And if someone's running a game, it's their game. Keep your mouth shut. Play the game. You can't, if you and I were playing chess, you can't come to me and say, well, I want to play with the chess figures, but I want to use drafts rules. Americans, checkers. It's not the way it works. Everyone's playing Monopoly and you want to play Risk on the same board. No, it's a different game. I use my game, SHAKO 2, adapted by me, and you have to trust I am trying my best to be historically accurate and fair. Which is why I'm reorganising all these troops before the next battle, because it's not right. I want to get it right, and I didn't, and I admit it, I hold my hand up. So, that's what this is. The next one I'm going to do, quickly, is I'm going to show you me just with me shaky hand, just showing how I do a bit of painting on some 6mm Napoleonic figures. So, for now, ta-ra, Chuck!